I divorced my husband, but he remarries twice and has 7 kids with other women, then sends me video on my ex-husband sent me a video of his new life, a sprawling montage of laughter, kids, and 2 wives, captioned, "This is what you missed." I watched it alone in my quiet apartment, the kind of quiet that screams regret at 3 a.m. By the end, I wasn't sure if I wanted to cry, scream, or burn the phone to ash. 15 years ago, I walked away from David, my husband of a decade, because love shouldn't feel like a cage. We met in our 20s, young and reckless, drunk on dreams of a perfect life. He was charming, with a smile that could sell ice to penguins. But behind it was a man who needed control over me, over our home, over every choice I dared to make. I wanted a career. He wanted a housewife. I wanted adventure. He wanted routine. By the time I signed the divorce papers, I was 35, bruised but free, ready to rebuild. The divorce wasn't clean. David fought me on everything: the house, the car, even the dog we both loved. He called me selfish, said I'd regret leaving him, that no one else would want a used-up woman like me. His words stung, but I moved on. I got a job as a graphic designer, rented a small apartment, and started therapy to untangle the knots he'd tied in my self-worth. Life wasn't perfect, but it was mine. For years, I heard snippets about David through mutual friends. He remarried within a year a woman named Claire, 10 years younger, all smiles and compliance. They had 3 kids in quick succession. I'd see photos on social media, his arm around her, their kids in matching outfits, and I'd feel a pang, not of jealousy, but of relief. I'd escaped. But then, 5 years later, I heard he divorced Claire and married again. This time, it was Mia, a yoga instructor with a penchant for posting about blended families. 4 more kids followed, 7 children total, 2 wives, and a life that seemed to scream, "Look how happy I am without you." I didn't care, or at least, I told myself I didn't. I'd built a good life: friends, a promotion, a trip to Italy I'd always dreamed of. I dated a little, but nothing stuck. Maybe David's words had burrowed deeper than I admitted. Maybe I was scared to trust again, but I was content, or close to it, until that video arrived. It came on a Tuesday night, a random text from an unknown number. The thumbnail showed David, older but still handsome, surrounded by kids. I should have deleted it. Instead, I pressed play. The video was a slickly edited masterpiece, like something you'd see in a family vlog. David, Claire, and Mia all together, laughing in a sunlit backyard. The kids, 7 of them, ages ranging from toddler to preteen, ran around, blowing bubbles, playing tag. David narrated, his voice smooth and smug. "This is my family now. This is what happiness looks like." The camera panned to Claire, glowing with maternal pride, then to Mia, radiant and carefree. The kids called him Dad in unison, their voices overlapping in a chorus of adoration. The final shot was David winking at the camera, as if he knew I was watching. I sat there, frozen, the phone still in my hand as the screen went dark. My apartment felt smaller, the walls closing in. Why did he send this? To gloat, to hurt me? To prove he was right all those years ago? I wanted to call him, to scream, to demand answers. But I didn't. Instead, I poured a glass of wine and watched the video again. And again. Each time, I noticed something new: the way Claire's smile faltered when Mia leaned into David, the way one of the kids looked away when he ruffled their hair. It wasn't perfect. It was a performance. The next morning, I called my best friend, Sarah. "He's trying to get under my skin," I said, pacing my kitchen. Why else would he send that? Sarah, ever the voice of reason, told me to ignore it. "He's a narcissist. Anna, he needs you to react. Don't give him the satisfaction." But I couldn't let it go. The video wasn't just about his new life. It was about mine. It was a taunt, a reminder of every doubt I'd ever had about leaving him. I started digging. I wasn't proud of it, But I scoured social media, piecing together the truth behind David's perfect life. Claire's posts were sparse, mostly photos of her kids with captions about making it work. Mia's were louder hashtags like blessed and big family love, but her eyes looked tired in the close-ups. Mutual friends hinted at tension. David's business was struggling. The kids were a handful. Claire and Mia didn't get along. Despite the video's happy facade, it wasn't a fairy tale. It was a mess. Still, the video haunted me. I started questioning my choices. Had I been too quick to leave? Could I have fought harder for us? My therapist, Dr. Ellis, was blunt. You're rewriting history. Anna, you left because you had to. Don't let him pull you back into his narrative. She was right, but the doubts lingered. I stopped sleeping well. I'd lie awake, imagining alternate lives where I'd stayed, where I was the one with the big family, the backyard, the laughter. Then a month later, another text came. This time it was Claire. Anna, I need to talk. It read. My heart raced. I hadn't spoken to her in years, not since she'd been the other woman. Against my better judgment, I called her. Her voice was soft, shaky. I saw the video he sent you. She said, he showed it to me before he sent it. I told him not to, but he laughed it off. She paused when then whispered, I'm sorry. Claire told me everything. The video was David's idea, a way to show the world how successful he was. But behind the scenes, things were falling apart. David was barely home, juggling 2 households and a failing business. Claire felt trapped, raising 3 kids alone most days. Mia was struggling too, overwhelmed by 4 young children and David's constant demands for perfection. He compares us to you, Claire said, her voice breaking. He says we're not as strong as you were, that you'd have handled this better. I was stunned. All this time, I'd thought David had moved on, built something better, but he was still chasing control, still measuring everyone against me. It wasn't about love or happiness. It was about winning. The video wasn't a victory lap. It was a cry for validation. I met Claire for coffee the next week. She looked older than her photos, her eyes heavy with exhaustion. We didn't talk about David at first. Instead, we shared stories about our lives, her kids, my job, the small victories we'd both fought for. It was strange, sitting across from the woman I'd once resented. But I saw her differently now. She wasn't my enemy. She was another woman caught in David's orbit, trying to find her way out. Do you regret leaving him, she asked, stirring her coffee. I thought about it, really thought about it, for the first time in years. No, I said, I regret the pain, but not the choice. Leaving him gave me back myself. She nodded, tears in her eyes. I'm thinking about leaving too, she whispered. But the kids, I didn't have answers, but I listened. Sometimes, that's enough. Over the next few months, I found myself talking to Claire more often. We became unlikely allies, bonded by our shared history with a man who thought he could define us. Mia reached out too, eventually. She was younger, fiercer, but just as tired. He sent you that video to hurt you, she told me, but it's not about you. It's about him. She was right. David's life wasn't a triumph. It was a house of cards built on ego and denial. I never responded to David's video. I didn't need to. Instead, I focused on my own life, my work, my friends, the small joys I'd fought for. I started painting again, something I hadn't done since my marriage. I took a trip to the coast, just because I could. I even went on a date, a good one, with a man who didn't try to control the conversation. One night, I got a call from Claire. She'd left David. It wasn't easy. She was staying with her sister, figuring out custody, but she sounded lighter, like a weight had lifted. You were right, she said. It's hard, but it's worth it. I smiled, thinking of my own journey. Freedom always comes at a cost, but it's a price I'd pay again. David's video still sits in my phone, unopened for months now. I keep it as a reminder not of what I lost, but of what I gained. I could have stayed, been the perfect wife, the mother of his children, but I chose me, and in the end, that's the story that matters. What do you think? Was I right to walk away? Or should I have fought for what we had? Should Claire and Mia stay or go? Share your thoughts. I want to hear them.